Hello students, out of 12 to maximum 15 short notes from brain, we are going to describe or discuss the circle of Willis, or also called as arteriosus, circus arteriosus. So Willis, he was a surgeon. On the basis of his name, that circle at the base of the brain, the arteries derived from the internal carotid artery of right and left makes encircling at the base of the brain and supplies to the brain, and all of these are the branches of either vertebral artery or internal carotid artery. As all of you know, there is a bifurcation of carotid artery. One artery goes inside the cranium and is called as the internal carotid artery, and from where the right and left, they anastomose to each other and makes a circle-like shape at the base of the brain, and that is called as a circle of Willis. There are two arteries that supplies to the brain. One is the internal carotid artery and another is the vertebral artery. As all of you know, cerebral part of the carotid artery and its branches. So the circle of Willis. The circle of Willis, this one is a diagrammatic representation from the book, and also in the 5th edition, this diagram represents the circle of Willis, encircling of the internal carotid arteries, and how they join to each other and makes an anastomosis to each other. So first one, after piercing the dura mater from the root of the cavernous sinus, the internal carotid artery gives off 3 large branches. These are ophthalmic artery, which supply the orbit and its orbit or eyeball, and anterior and middle cerebral arteries to the brain. Anterior and middle cerebral artery to the brain. Of all brain, it also gives off smaller branches that take part in the supplying the brain. These are posterior communicating artery and anterior choroidal arteries. You may refer your book, go through the book and observe cautiously the circle of Willis. See here, this circle of Willis is also called as a arteriosus, circulus arteriosus. You observe. You may see the diagram. This one is the basilar artery. This one is the basilar artery. This is middle cerebral artery, and these two, right and left sided internal carotid artery. These are internal carotid artery which communicate with the posterior cerebellar artery. Posterior cerebellar artery. These are the cerebellar arteries. So this one is a optic chiasma. After supplying outside the cranium, supply to the optic, we just saw that it supplied to the eyeball, the optic branch. Then this is a optic chiasma. This right sided. First one, this one is a optic nerve. Now from the internal carotid artery derives the anterior cerebral artery for the cerebrum. Anterior cerebral artery, that they communicate each other by anterior communicating artery. See here the communication. Then the anterior cerebral artery gives off one branch. It's called as a recurrent branch of the anterior cerebral artery. This is a recurrent branch. Then from internal carotid artery, the artery that communicate with the posterior cerebral artery. This one, anterior cerebral, posterior cerebral artery. This one is called as posterior communicating artery. This one is a posterior communicating artery. This and this one is the anterior cerebral artery. Okay, now this is upper right sided, this is upper left sided. You see here also this one is a posterior communicating artery, this one is a anterior choroidal artery, this one is a optic chiasma. The small branches derived from the posterior cerebral artery, when both the posterior right and left join together to form the basilar artery. This one is a basilar artery. Basilar artery divides into posterior cerebral artery, right and left sided. So communication of this artery that makes at the base of the brain is called as a circulus arteriosus or circle of Willis. This circle of Willis is important clinically for the blood supply of the brain, because any one of these artery, if it gets blocked, that part of the brain, there is no doubt there is a collateral circulation only in case of posterior communicating artery, and this anterior cerebral artery, if it is damaged or blocked by hematoma or any other growth, that leads to the clinical condition, that is there may be hemiplegia or any other brain disorder will be there. So anterior cerebral artery, first of all the anterior cerebral artery, see this one anterior cerebral artery, this one is a posterior cerebral artery, this one is a basilar, this one is internal, right and left. Then these are the communicating arteries to each other. This one is a posterior communicate to each other, these large arteries. So we'll see the description of these small arteries. Anterior cerebral artery, it arises from the internal carotid artery below the anterior perforated substance, lateral to the optic chiasma. From here it runs forwards and medially, crossing above the optic nerve to reach the longitudinal fissure separating the two cerebral hemispheres. Here the arteries of the two sides lie close together, are united to each other by the anterior communicating artery. The artery now turns sharply to reach the genu of the corpus callosum and winds round the front of the genu and runs backwards just about to the body of the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum we have seen, it's a commissure between the right and left cerebral hemisphere, ending near the posterior part. Distribution of the artery, we have already studied distribution of this artery. The special mention to be made here of the recurrent branch of the anterior cerebral artery, that is also called as the artery of the Hubner. The artery runs backwards and laterally to enter the anterior perforated substance. Middle cerebral artery. See the middle cerebral artery. After its origin of the internal carotid artery, middle cerebral artery runs laterally to the depth of the stem of the lateral sulcus. It curves to the superior lateral surface and runs backwards the depth of the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus. The main stem of the artery can be seen only by artificially separating the lips of the sulcus. Now the posterior communicating artery. This one is a posterior communicating artery. This posterior communicating artery runs backwards and anastomos with the posterior cerebral artery, helping to complete the circulus arteriosus, to complete the complete circle, that is circle of Willis. Now the cranial part of the vertebral artery. It gives off the anterior and posterior spinal arteries and the posterior inferior cerebral artery to the spinal cord and brain. They have already discussed. Now the basilar artery and its branches. Basilar artery, this basilar artery is formed by the union of the right and left vertebral arteries at the lower border of the pons. It ascends in the midline ventral to the pons and ends its upper border up by dividing into right and left posterior cerebral arteries. It gives off the following branches: superior cerebellar, pontine branch, labyrinthine branch, anterior inferior branch, and cerebellar branch. The distribution of these branches are considered as blood supply of the cerebral hemisphere. That means blood supply of the cerebrum. The anterior, middle, and posterior cerebral arteries gives off rise to two sets of the branches, cortical and central. The cortical branches ramify on the surface of the cerebral hemisphere and supply to the cortex. Details of the supply of individual areas of the cortex we'll discuss it later on. Then the central or the perforating branches pass deep into the substance of the cerebral hemisphere to supply structures within it. They consist of four main groups: anteromedial, anterolateral, posteromedial, and posterolateral. Now the arterial supply of cerebral cortex. You have seen cerebral hemisphere and only cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is supplied by cortical branches of the anterior, middle, and posterior cerebral arteries. The greater part of the superolateral surface is supplied by the middle cerebral artery. The areas not supplied by this artery are as following: a strip about 2 cm wide along the superior-medial border extending from the frontal pole to the parieto-occipital sulcus is supplied by anterior cerebral artery. The area belonging to the occipital lobe is supplied by posterior cerebral artery. The inferior temporal gyrus is also supplied by posterior cerebral artery. The main artery supplying the medial surface is anterior cerebral, and the area of the surface belonging to the occipital lobe is supplied by posterior cerebral artery. Lateral part of the orbital surface is supplied by the middle cerebral artery, and medial part by the anterior cerebral artery. The tentorial surface of the cerebrum by the posterior cerebral artery. Temporal pole is however supplied by the middle cerebral artery. From the above information, or just we have discussed, it is clear that the main somatic and sensory areas of the cerebrum is supplied by cerebral artery except in their uppermost part, that is leg area, which are supplied by anterior cerebral, and auditory areas are supplied by middle cerebral artery, and the visual area by posterior cerebral artery. Arterial supply of other parts of the cerebral hemisphere. Internal capsule is supplied by central branches, middle cerebral artery, that is lenticular branches, and the anterior cerebral artery, that is we just have seen Hubner's recurrent branch, and the posterior communicating artery and the anterior choroidal artery. The corpus striatum, chiefly the anterior lateral central branches of the middle cerebral artery, partly by the anterior medial branches from the anterior cerebral and anterior communicating arteries. Thalamus is supplied by the posteromedial and posterolateral central branches of the posterior cerebral artery, and partly by the anterior medial central branches. Now the choroid fluxuses. The choroid fluxuses of the lateral and third ventricles are supplied by anterior choroidal artery. They are the branches of the internal carotid, and the posterior choroidal artery, the branch of the posterior cerebral artery. The choroidal fluxuses of the fourth ventricle is supplied by a branch from the posterior inferior cerebellar artery. The anatomical peculiarities of the cerebral artery. One peculiar feature of presence of free anastomosis in the form of a circulus arteriosus, that is circle of Willis. It is formed anteriorly by the anterior communicating artery and posteriorly by posterior communicating artery. Second peculiarity of this circle of this blood supply of the cerebrum is existence of the blood-brain barrier formed by the structures between the blood and the nerve cells of the brain. Thus, barriers is made up of the vessel wall, the arachnoid layer of the perivascular sheath, and the perivascular space. The pial layer of the perivascular sheath and the neuroglia and the ground substance of the brain. The barrier at the capillary level is reduced merely by the capillary endothelium with neuroglia and ground substance. It permits a selective passage of blood content in the nervous tissue. Toxic and harmful substances are prevented. They are ordinarily prevented from reaching the brain. The third significant fact is that central branches of the cerebral arteries are end arteries. So thrombosis, this is very important clinical anatomy of the end arteries of the brain, that thrombosis is one of them. So invariability of the causes infarction. If there is a thrombosis, it is very dangerous condition. So end artery should not get thrombosed. So this is all about circle of Willis. Main important clinical anatomy of this circle of Willis is the rupture of the artery. First of all, if the rupture of artery is there, then secondly the thrombosis. That means if there is a thrombosis, the clot, especially in the end arteries, or they may get the lumen may get decreased, so less blood supply to the brain, to that part, that leads to the slow infarction. Slow infarction will be there, and that will lose the functioning. Especially the critical condition is the thrombus, or embolus is not there generally. Formation of a thrombus in the blood supply, that may lead to the critical condition and narrowing of the arteries. If in general narrowing of the arteries, that arteriosclerosis is there, there may be chance of the less blood supply to that part of the brain, that may also lead to the dangerous condition. Now, in this question, circle of Willis, or that we have seen the arteriosus what at the base of the brain. So you have to give the introduction, make at least one diagram should be there. You have to mention separately the branches at the brain. At least there are 12 to 15 branches at the circle of Willis. So at least you should remember 4 to 5 branches. And 2 marks question may be asked. Name any 4 branches at the circle of Willis. Very commonly, anterior cerebral artery, posterior cerebral artery, posterior communicating artery, basilar artery. So number of arteries you can tell the branches of various arteries: the posterior cerebral artery, posterior choroidal artery, and then the anterior perforating substance, internal carotid artery, middle cerebral artery, then the anterior communicating artery, posterior communicating artery. So you can give number of branches of the. So this is a most probable question. Enumerate any 4 branches at the circle of Willis. And in the practice point of view, the thrombosis, the end arteries of the brain. That means मोटा बिंदु, बड़ा brain. There are end arteries, and if there is a thrombosis to the end arteries, that leads to a critical condition, sudden stoppage, infarction is there, and if the vital centers are being affected, it leads to more and more critical condition. More and more critical condition that depends on what area is being infarcted. The symptoms and signs or the dysfunction is related to what area is being infarcted or the clinical anatomy. So one diagram is essential, or you may make the diagram of the cerebrum to gain the mark cerebrum, and may show the branches on that surface of that particular surface of that cerebrum. So this is all about circle of Willis or circulus arteriosus. Thank you.